Mr. Hinds, hello. Could you introduce yourself and present your company?
So hello all, I'm James Hinds. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Airbus OneWeb Satellites, and our company is a 50-50 joint venture between Airbus, which I should imagine many of you know very well, which is a global leader in the aerospace industry, and OneWeb, a company founded in 2012 with a mission to connect the unconnected through a constellation of 650 low Earth orbit satellites.
So can you describe the research and innovation involved in your manufacturing operations and your satellite production?
We can absolutely describe that, but I think before I go into detail, we need to look at what I would call the foundation of our organization. And the foundation is two principal shareholders who I consider to be partners. The first of all is Airbus, who have a tremendous global heritage in technical innovation and actually bringing that innovation to the marketplace. And then I look at OneWeb, who have really embraced the vision to disrupt SATCOM and to enable communication to the unconnected millions throughout the world. And they don't have to be on the ground, they can be in a boat, they can be on a plane, wherever. So bringing together that vision and the reality of making technical dreams come alive, that is the very foundation which has been behind Airbus OneWeb Satellites. And it's what's enabled us to really embrace the vision. We have made that a reality by taking the Toulouse prototype house of proving out the design of the spacecraft, the processes used in making that spacecraft and validating it, and then turning it into a factory where we have the capability of delivering up to 2 satellites every day. Again, at the same level of quality that you've seen from other manufacturers who take 2 to 4 years to produce one spacecraft. So a significant change, which has really meant we've had to embrace a lot of different concepts to change paradigms, but still embrace those old-fashioned quality aspects, which are so needed for working in space.
What is your take on French, European, and American cooperation in space exploration?
So I think, as I've described earlier in this conversation, we really are a company which has embraced France and the US, and in fact, a much broader collection of countries. And I consider that, in many ways, we are a truly global company. But let's focus for a second to the question at hand, which is the France and the US cooperation. As I said at the beginning, the prototype for the generation satellites which we build at the moment started off in Toulouse in southern France. And it's not just a prototype for the spacecraft design, it's the whole factory which builds and validates that design. It all started off in Toulouse, and then we built the first 6 pilots, which were launched out of French Guiana. So straight away you can see there's a very French connection to our company. But it hasn't stopped there. We took that design, all the processes, and we moved them to Florida. We kept our engineering team, our supply chain foundation team in Toulouse, so that we wouldn't lose all of that good talent, but we would actually take some of that good talent and build and partner with talent we've found in America. So it's a real marriage where we've tried to get the very best of capability, but we've also tried to really pioneer that desire to challenge the paradigm of how you build and how you prepare vehicles for space here in Florida, but with that foundation in France. But I would also, maybe as a very last element, I think it's quite testimony when you're in Florida and roughly every 2 weeks you can go outside. Sometimes you have to wake up to go outside and you can see a launch. And I think it really underlines for me space is not simple, it's not easy, but people still embrace it. And I really take my hat off to the upcoming mission with Thomas Pesquet, and how on Crew Dragon, he with fellow astronauts will keep that dream alive and really underline what it is to step out and to accept that challenge and to demonstrate what we can do as part of human endeavor.
With more and more satellites orbiting, space debris is increasing. How can we keep space clean? Did you develop any strategy to leave no trace in space?
So again, to answer that question, you have to look at many facets. First and foremost, we are not an operator of spacecraft. We build spacecraft predominantly at the moment for one of our partners, OneWeb. So I can't talk to their particular strategy as an operator, but I can talk to what I would call more generic aspects. So first of all, when you are thinking about an environmentally friendly space, you need to think about the vehicles which you are putting into that space in the same way that when we think about the environment here on Earth, we think about the car. How can we reduce the pollution which comes from that car? How can we reduce the carbon footprint necessary to make that car? So these are similar points of view and similar topics which we've had to embrace when we think about our spacecraft. How do we design our spacecraft so it can basically be placed into orbit and ensure that we have a debris-free environment? And we've looked at aspects of design, such as handling of the spacecraft, and how we can deorbit the spacecraft in order to guarantee that. Now, the next higher level is when you have 650 of those satellites, and you work out how the overall constellation works and how you can make sure not only one spacecraft, but the whole constellation indeed promises and delivers the ability to be environmentally friendly in space and also zero debris. So it's not just about working at spacecraft level, it's also working at constellation level with at least 650 satellites. And we're very much partnering with OneWeb to make that a reality.
How do you see the future space-wise?
To answer that question, I have big dreams, but I would cast your mind back to 2 points. First of all, can you remember the day before we had satellite navigation and you would drive on a car journey with your respective partner, and one person would be driving, one person would be navigating, and they would say, well, I thought you were meant to take that road. Well, no, I thought you meant to take that road. And so there would be this tremendous discussion about who took the wrong road and how it should have been communicated earlier. Well, now, if we cast our mind back to where we are today, we have the fact that we have a satellite navigation system, and it enables us to remove a potential source of conflict and partner to partner difficulty. And I think that's just a very real application of how space is being developed. You can't get into a space like you can get into a car or a commercial aircraft, but you can feel the benefits of it, whether it's in satellite navigation, communication, knowing whether to go out and have a picnic or to take an umbrella because it's going to rain because you rely on weather satellites, or whether we just want absolutely the latest information which can spot environmental conditions through Earth observation. There's a whole host of applications of space which are being developed on top of what I would call the more traditional of communication and video relay with TV distribution to our houses. And I think as we look at what the launch vehicle industry has done in the last few years with reusable rockets and a significant increase in the cadence, and we look at what's happened to satellites, how they've become more producible, but still recognizing the quality of a spacecraft article, I think we're getting to a point where you can almost consider the use of space and the placing of vehicles in space as a commodity. So rather than a bespoke design and development, you have a commodity development where, again, you have to respect everything in terms of design and quality, but it makes space much more usable. So I think we're going to get into an environment where access to space and the missions which can be used in space are going to be expanded, because the barriers to entry, being principally expense, have been significantly reduced. So I'm very excited, both in terms of launch and our ability to design platforms which can be used in that environment. It's been great to talk today. I hope that all of you are excited about this forthcoming mission. I think it's part of our human race and how it's trying to really use space. So it's exciting in whatever aspect, be it exploration, the use and design of spacecraft and their flight. So once again, thanks a lot. It's been a great opportunity, and I wish you all a good day and the very best of luck to the upcoming mission of Thomas Pesquet. Thank you.